With its grandeur and luxury, the Roman Empire has fascinated historians and enthusiasts alike for centuries. However, amidst the tales of mighty emperors, valiant gladiators, and influential senators, a hidden and often disregarded aspect of Roman society exists: the life of male concubines. While much has been written about the women who occupied this role, men's experiences entangled in the intricate web of concubinage have remained shrouded in obscurity, waiting to be unveiled. With this concealed realm, a disturbing narrative unfolds, a world where power, desire, and exploitation intertwine, forging the grim reality of male concubines in the Roman Empire. Beyond the magnificent marble palaces and extravagant banquets, these young men were trapped in a life governed by secrecy, manipulation, and perpetual vulnerability. These courtesans were reduced to mere commodities, and their bodies became subject to the whims of wealthy and influential masters. Stripped of the glamorous facade of Roman civilization, this hidden underbelly reveals a chilling tale of male subjugation and the objectification of desire. Join us as we explore the harsh realities endured by male concubines in the Roman Empire. The premise of concubinage. Male concubines were often acquired through various means, including captures in wars, purchase from slave markets, or inheritance. They were considered property and were owned by their masters, and this lack of agency and autonomy formed the foundation of their existence. A story of notorious pimps and sexual exploitation. The brutal reality of male concubines in ancient Rome was marked by severe sexual exploitation. These individuals were forced into a degrading existence solely to provide sexual pleasure to their owners. They endured regular and demanding encounters, often leaving them physically and emotionally drained. The owners treated them as mere objects, disregarding their well-being and using their bodies as vessels for their gratification. The notorious Emperor Nero is a glaring example of the prevalence of such exploitive arrangements during that era. Nero, known for his scandalous and controversial behavior, indulged in relationships with multiple male concubines. Amongst them, he developed a particular fondness for a slave named Sporus. In a highly contentious and shocking act, Nero castrated Sporus and forcibly married him, audaciously referring to him as his wife. Nero even publicly presented Sporus as his wife, adorning him with the regalia typically reserved for Roman empresses. Taking his audacity to new heights, Nero paraded Sporus from Rome to Greece and back, designating him as the mistress of the wardrobe. Sporus was given various titles, such as lady, empress, and mistress, and in a further display of eccentricity, Nero found amusement in performing a mock wedding ceremony with a man named Pythagoras, assuming the role of the bride and donning a bridal veil. Another Roman emperor, Hadrian, also preferred the company of men and engaged in homosexual relationships. His concubine, Antinous, held a significant place in his heart. Although their relationship had problematic aspects, including considerable age and status disparities, Hadrian and Antinous are remembered as one of the most well-known homosexual couples from the ancient world. Antinous accompanied the emperor and the imperial court until tragedy struck during their journey through Egypt. Antinous tragically drowned along the Nile, marking the end of their time together. Subservience and domination. Male concubines of ancient Rome were dominated by oppressive relationship power dynamics and control imposed by their masters. They were completely at the mercy of their owners, who held absolute authority over them. The masters could assert their power through physical violence, manipulation, or the use of threats, ensuring that the concubines lived in a perpetual state of vulnerability and fear. This stark power imbalance made it nearly impossible for male concubines to exercise rights or to challenge their dire circumstances. In ancient Roman culture, the patron's influential role shaped the relationships between concubines and their patrons. The concubines were often stripped of their agency and had limited control over the dynamics of the relationship. Early Roman laws attempted to differentiate between concubinage and legal marriage. For instance, a law attributed to the second king of Rome, ruling from around 716 to 673 BCE, expressly prohibited concubines from participating in the worship of Juno, the goddess of marriage. According to this law, anyone could keep a concubine above the age of 12. This legal provision further reinforced the subordinate position of male concubines, leaving them with minimal or no autonomy and authority within the relationship. Their actions and decisions were entirely subject to the whims and desires of the higher status individuals, rendering them utterly powerless. Lack of social standing. Despite their proximity to the wealthy and powerful, male concubines held no social status. They were considered property rather than individuals, which meant they were excluded from participating in public life, politics, or social gatherings. This marginalization reinforced their subservient position and limited their personal growth or advancement opportunities. Emotional turmoil. Male concubines often experienced deep emotional turmoil as they were forcibly separated from their families and loved ones. The loss of personal connections and constant objectification and exploitation would take a toll on their mental well-being. Feelings of isolation, loneliness, and despair were all common amongst male concubines. A tale of ancient homosexuality. The practice of male concubinage found widespread acceptance within the intricate tapestry of Roman society, particularly among the echelons of the upper classes. It would be regarded as a viable avenue for fulfilling one's sexual desires while evading the constraints imposed by the institution of marriage. However, this acceptance of male concubinage was predominantly confined to the elite stratum, intimately intertwined with notions of opulence and privilege that characterized their social standing. In the context of Roman society, firmly entrenched gender roles and expectations dictated the behavior and conduct expected of men. Engaging in same-sex relationships or assuming a passive role within such relationships was considered a deviance from established societal norms. Consequently, male concubines were confronted with deep-seated societal stigmatization, enduring a relentless onslaught of emasculation and ridicule. These degrading experiences only exacerbated the arduous circumstances under which they had already labored. A hierarchy system formed the bedrock of Roman social organization, with individuals neatly positioned within a structured order. At the very bottom of this complex hierarchy resided male concubines, existing at the nadir of social standing. Bereft of personal autonomy and agency, they were reduced to mere possessions, reinforcing the prevailing power structures and exacerbating social inequalities that permeated all throughout the ancient Roman society. Ultimately, the life of a male concubine in the Roman Empire was a dehumanizing experience characterized by sexual exploitation, lack of social standing, and emotional turmoil. Despite acceptance amongst certain circles, male concubines endured a cycle of power imbalance and control, with their bodies commodified and their individuality stripped away. Their marginalization within society perpetuated existing inequalities and demonstrated the darker aspects of the Roman culture. What did you think about these male concubines in the ancient Roman Empire, and were you shocked to hear this story? Let me know all about it in the comments down below, suggest a video for the future, and I'll see you next time.